I'm going to ask you one more final quick question, and then we're going to go to the questions in our chat. We have lots of great questions, but I couldn't resist. I know that you've traveled a great deal across the country, speaking to business leaders and speaking in the business community and making the case to them for them to invest in and become involved in political innovation. And I wanted to ask you whether you're seeing a change in how the business community thinks about the political parties and the two-party system. What's that looking like?
Yeah, so there is a change. I mean, first of all, there's the business community, these business leaders that I spend time talking to are part of the national, race towards zero satisfaction with Washington, D.C. So they're on the same downward trajectory as we all are. And so that's not unusual. What I think is interesting is that at the same time as businesses and business leaders are grappling with their responsibility within capitalism to all stakeholders instead of just this traditional responsibility, which has been to the bottom line, shareholder financial responsibility. I think that is opening up and is sort of participating in their reawakening on what they may owe to the democracy, as well as their power there. And here's that doesn't mean that I expect that really soon we're going to see an enormous number of business leaders coming out in favor of this, but it's absolutely happening. I'm going to give you an example. So a CEO of one of the major corporations in the world, like one of our largest, I don't know what his company must be in the top, it's certainly in the top 50 companies in the world. He read the book and he reached out by email. And now we are having, regular meetings about how to get the, top 50 global CEOs involved. And that we would not have seen 5 years ago. And I also don't think you'd see it without this particular message of competition. But they have to take their time to figure out how to, they still have responsibility to the company, like how to mesh this in. And the main challenge here, I think, is that it's hard for lots of people, and it's also hard for these business leaders, these CEOs, to imagine that anything can truly be nonpartisan. Like everybody is still trying to figure out which of the two final 5 voting, which is what I'm recommending, right? But who is that really going to benefit? And I'm like, no, you're still missing it. It's not about the two. It's about them. It's not about them at all. It's about us. It's about the public interest. And then it's about the many, and it's about the results. It's not about who gets elected. It's about what the winners are incented to do. And that is about as nonpartisan, as we can get when we talk about structural reform. So that's the dialogue that we have.
Thanks, Katherine. What a that's so important. I'm so glad that that's emerging and deepening.